This
See.
conference will now be recorded.
All right. Good morning, everybody. We are live online with Blue Shift web service for our managing your online presence, and I've already given them permissions and to do the presentation and make them the presenters. So I'm just here to monitor what's going on with GoToMeeting, and I'm going to let Emily and Ryder take it away. And if you have questions, if you could keep yourself muted unless you have a question, that would be great. And as people come in, I will probably be muting them. You can also use the chat function, and I'll keep an eye on the chat function, the chat box for questions and things that come in as well. So Emily and Ryder, I'm going to turn it over to you guys.
All right, and just so everybody knows, if you don't know where the chat function is, it's in the top right corner over there. There's like a little bubble.
Yes.
Yeah, it's somewhere on the screen over here. So we are Blue Shift Web Services. I am Emily, and this is Ryder, and I'll let him tell you a little bit more about us, our background, why we do this, all of that.
Yeah, we are a full-service digital agency, so that basically means anything that has to do with your business, we help with everything that has to do with the online portion of running a business. Main things would be like web design, SEO, which is, if you don't know what that is the art of making your website rank against your competitors online. We do graphic design, content writing, such as blogs, which is also SEO. And much, much more. If there's anything you may be interested in or have any questions about, feel free to ask us. We probably do it, again, if it has to do with your business online. So if you want to get started about telling them what we're talking about today.
All right, and just want to say we partnered with the Titusville area Chamber of Commerce to bring this workshop series to life. We usually do it at their location. This is our first online foray. And if you hear our babies in the background, just ignore them. They're watching TV and they're getting really excited.
Yeah, I may have to go back and forth to take care of them. You know.
So today we're going to be talking about marketing on a budget. So everyone's being hit pretty hard with this shutdown during the coronavirus. So we're going to talk about ways that are free or almost free that you can market your business and really work on your online presence. Am I sharing my screen? Oh, I'm not. Hang on 1 second.
Not yet. You're not sharing your screen yet.
Now am I sharing my screen?
Now you're sharing the screen.
There we go. All right, so I have a small presentation. We're going to actually go through some of the different websites today. So
I just want to also add, if anybody has any questions, please feel free to ask. You know, this is kind of going to be off the cuff content, so we love questions, input, stuff where we can take this different directions.
And so today we're going to cover a few basic things, SEO, social media, and graphics with a focus on backlinks and content-based SEO, because these are the things that you can do yourself and that are usually free and have the biggest impact on your rankings and on your business online. So when it comes to SEO, most people don't know but should know is search engine optimization, like he mentioned earlier. It's how Google finds and ranks you in the search results. And there are over 200 factors that come into play. So some of the major ones that you should focus on are backlinks, blogging, content optimization, and the technical SEO. So if you're not tech savvy, technical SEO has some user-friendly things that you can do, such as adding alt tags on your images, especially if you use a site builder like Weebly or Wix or WordPress. You can go in and when you upload an image, add some keywords on the side where it kind of tells Google what that image is. As far as backlinks go, backlinks is just any other website online that links back to your website. So this can be Facebook profiles, this can be Google My Business, which is amazing and free, and if you don't have it, you need to get it like right now. We're going to go over it a little bit in a second.
And out of all, I just want to add in, out of all the variables for Google ranking your website against your competitors, backlinks is by far the number one variable.
So when it comes to backlinks, you should make sure that you have the profile on whatever website completely filled out with your hours, your contact information, everything. If there's a section for you to put words, you should put words in it. The most important one, of course, is going to be the website section. You should put a link to your website. You should make sure that if it is a secure website where you see it has this little lock up here in the address bar, you should definitely make sure that it says the HTTPS in front of your website link. If you don't do that, there's different problems, like it doesn't load everything properly. So just you want to make sure that is right. Another great profile for you to fill out is if you're a member of your local chamber of commerce, they most likely have a directory on their website, and you should definitely fill it out completely, SEO it like it's your own website. For us, it's actually either our second or a third link when you search us on Google. So it's very, very.
Yeah, it's personally our number one backlink that has the most SEO juice. It's probably going to be the same for the vast majority of businesses. So it's very important to utilize the Chamber of Commerce backlink. And the same goes if you have if you're part of multiple chambers, just this chamber, whatever, you want to make sure all of them are linking back to your website.
I see a question. I'm sorry.
Cool. There.
Oh, thank you. You're welcome, Robin. So,
is there any way we can know how many people are watching?
Yeah, if you look at the screen, there's.
Oh, these are all people? Okay, yeah. Cool.
Marcia Carroll and 3 visitors. So another thing here that I have on here, these are some of the biggest profiles that you can make. So of course I have the big 6 social medias: Facebook, Instagram, Pinterest, Twitter, YouTube, and LinkedIn. Even if you're not posting actively to one of these social medias, you should have a profile completely filled out and linking back to your website. It's one of the biggest things that I strive to get everybody to do. It's the most important thing. You can also have listings that link back to your website on Yelp and the BBB and directories. So when you are looking for backlinks in directories, what you can do is you can type in your industry. So say web design directories. Yeah, I spelled that right. And then it'll bring up a bunch of different directories. So there's the awards directory. There's directory website, Red Tree Web Design. So there's all kinds of different things. So what I would do if you have time is to go through each of these that is relevant to your industry and go and fill out the profile. So I think I already have one on here. So you might have to scroll to the bottom of the page and look where it says to get listed. So down here under directory, it says get listed at the very, very bottom.
This is just a random.
Yeah, this is just a random one, but they're usually structured like this where the get listed button is at the bottom of the web page.
You can find directories. You might have already said this. I know I feel all stuff to say, but you can find a lot of directories that have to do with your niche. You know, be it dog treats, HVAC installation, whatever. There's directories for everything. So
does anyone want to share their industry, and I can pull up a couple directories? Just put it in the chat over there. I think this doesn't flip. It might flip.
Yeah, it does flip. So you're pointing. I guess we have to point.
Okay, that way then. Chat button is over there.
No. I guess maybe it doesn't. I don't know.
Chat button somewhere up in the top right of your screen.
Unless someone writes something, we can just come up with something.
I'm looking and I see we have a realtor. I know we have a realtor on.
There you go. That's a good one.
Okay, so realty directory, real estate.
There you go.
Agent directory. And you can also sort it by state if you want to be even more localized, which is really good for local SEO. You can type in your state or your city after it and see if there are any local-based directories. So realestateagent.com, the official directory. You might come across ones where you have to pay to be on them. You don't have to do that.
Matter of fact, I would not do that.
Yeah,
It's
unless
not
it's
worth
like a
it.
super high ranked, like you already knew the name of it before you found it, I wouldn't pay for it. So it's probably at the bottom again. Let's see. Client login. Oh, they have a chat bot. So you can just type in the chat bot and be like, how do I get listed? And then they'll tell you how to get listed there. There's also,
Yeah, each website will be different. You might have to, do a little bit of searching. It's not like there's a go-to way every single time to get a link on a website.
so here's an example. So here it lists their name, their zip code, and then their website. So the fact that I can click on this is what a backlink is. And this is what you're striving to get from your different profiles on Facebook, on different directories, on the chamber profile. This is the most important thing here, because your online presence is like a web. The more branches you have, the stronger your presence is. There's like different spider webs that I can think of that do that, where they like burrow and they have like 800 different lines throughout their web, and it makes it really strong. That's the same kind of idea you want for your online presence.
Yeah, in a nutshell, the reason why backlinks are so important, because in Google's research, they found that one of the main things that separates like a company that you can trust is how many backlinks people are going back to. For example, let's say us compared to a company that's, we've been in business for 1 year compared to a company that's been in business for 10 years and that are making, let's say, $10 million a year. That other company is going to have way more backlinks than us, just from people writing about them in blogs, people just using them as a reference for just really anything you can imagine. Now people they're gonna have much more trust. So from that, Google sees it as an indicator that they should be ranking higher than maybe us. We're a great company or anything, but it's just an example. So that's basically the idea behind that. And like I said, backlinks are the most important thing when it comes to SEO. But you don't want to buy them. A lot of people like try to offer you like, $500 for this. There's things called domain authority, and they might be like, oh, we have a DA ranking of 90 for $500. We'll backlink to you. For one, if the backlink isn't coming from a website that actually pertains to your industry, it's really not going to do much for you, no matter how high they rank. Two, it might actually hurt you. So if they're charging for backlinks, then of course they're doing this with other people, and Google's going to see that and see this as, this is kind of shady. This isn't very trustful. You don't want to be associated with that. And they do keep track of how many people is backlinking to you that are untrustworthy, and they will punish you for it. And it actually could become so severe that they'll actually take your website down for that. So you do not want to mess around with paying for backlinks. It's actually against their terms and conditions. It's actually, like, according to their rules, illegal. So you really do not want to mess with that stuff. But you can pay someone like an agency like us or whatever to go and get you backlinks, like doing it the try and true way, the way you're supposed to, such as like writing blogs, creating a massive amount of content. And then from creating a massive amount of content, people are inevitably going to backlink to your website. For example, we make a blog, a few times a week, and from that we get backlinks from other people who just backlink to our blog as an explanation for something they're talking about.
And that also brings me into this SSL certificate is very, very important for SEO as well. That's the thing that makes this lock in the top left of the address bar, have it locked. If you have an e-commerce site, this is a must-have necessity, because if somebody goes to your site and you are taking credit card information and you don't have SSL, they get that big ugly red warning that says, hey, this site's not secure. You're subject to getting hacked, basically. So you want to make sure you have the SSL, and you can do that by either the hosting company that you're hosting with, whether it's HostGator or GoDaddy. You can have them install it for you. You're still in frame.
Oh, sorry.
But yeah, so the next thing for SSO that we're going to talk about is content. The number one thing that you can do for SEO, for Google, for Yahoo, for all the search engines is to keep your website updated consistently and constantly, basically.
Well, so I got a button. The number one thing is the backlinks. You just contradicted everything.
Okay, number two thing. Number two thing.
This is definitely one of the biggest things, but like mathematically, the number one thing is backlinks. You could actually like see the studies done on it. It's always backlinks by a big old margin. So I just want to add that.
Okay, I think they got what I meant.
Yeah.
But okay, blogging shows Google that you're up to date with your website, so you're still working on your website. It's still a relevant website. If your website stagnates and doesn't have new content, doesn't have anything, Google is going to knock you for that. Another thing Google will knock you for is if you have blogged in the past and then stopped, so you like break consistency, they will knock you on the rankings for that. So I generally tell people to blog every 2 weeks as a starting point. And if you can increase it, then increase it. Right now, I think most people are blogging probably once a week. If you can do more than that and you can keep it consistent, go for it. Because the more active Google sees your website, the higher you will rank. We were blogging every day for a while, and we had some things happen, and I had to take a break from blogging, and we lost over 2/3 of our traffic.
I gotta just add in, we were blogging every day for a little while, but actually when we lost 2/3 of our traffic, it was from blogging. I don't remember if it was once a week or twice a week.
I think it was twice.
Let's say twice a week. That's the, it's still not as much as every day. But when we stopped from twice a week or once a week, we lost 2/3 of our traffic. So that wasn't even from doing it every day. If we're doing it every day, it would have been even bigger ratio. But you don't get as much return on your investment the more you blog. So for example, if you're blogging, let's say you go from blogging once a week to blogging every day, it's not going to be like you have a 7x in how much people are visiting your website. It's going to, there's like a certain amount that you get the idea. I can't put in words.
Yeah.
But yeah, doing it about once every 2 weeks or once a week is going to probably be optimal for your time. It does take a lot to write a 500, word blog consistently.
So that brings me into what you want to make sure. You want to make sure that every blog post you write is a minimum of 500 words. If you do any less than that, it's not good for SEO. I mean, it's better than nothing, but it's not enough for Google to crawl and really be able to rank you for keywords. You want to make sure that your keywords are in the headings. So I'm going to bring up a blog post so I can show you. All right. So in this blog post, we were talking about when it's time to replace your floor. So very, very common when your floor is damaged, you're going to need to replace it. So we have damaged hardwood floor here as a heading. So it's not just the fact that it's bigger text. There is code in the back that says, hey, this is a heading. This is the important part of your blog post. When you're writing your blog post, if you're on WordPress or another blog editor like that, what you do is you select the font size, so it'll say paragraph or something. You click it and then choose either H1, H2, H3, all of that. Do you have a question, Daisy?
No, sorry, I hit the wrong button.
You're good. All right, and so the structure that you want to follow for your blogs is that the H1 heading is your title. That's going to tell Google this is exactly the topic of the blog post. Then your H2 headings are going to be subcategories of what your blog post is about, and these are going to contain your secondary keywords. So replacing the floor is our main keyword, and different variations of when you need to. are our secondary keywords.
I just also want to add, I know if you've been to any of our presentations, you probably heard me say this every single time, but it's just such a good rule of thumb. One way to keep track of like what you're writing and the importance it has as far as SEO is think of it as the bigger the word, the more SEO juice it holds. So when it comes to like the headings are bigger, of course, they're bigger, they're more bold, they have more SEO. And there's code in the background that lets Google see basically the size of the word, and that's what they take into account as far as the importance of what you're writing. So when it comes to those bigger words, you want to make sure you are targeting words that people are actually searching for more often than their smaller body text words.
And I get a lot of questions about what you should blog about, or I don't know what to blog about, like should I just go and follow other blogs and then figure out from there? And my answer is yes. You should look at other people in your industry. What are they writing about? Are they writing knowledgeable posts about things that you know a lot about? So, for example, for the replacing your floors, I think every flooring company has a blog post about that. But we went in at a different angle to explain a little more of like how to tell than how a couple of our competitors have been.
I just said one of the best things you could possibly do is just basically imagine, what do I want to rank for? There's ways you can search for that, but if you're a flooring company, you can just type in the words you want to rank for, see what like the first blog that pops up for that is, and then basically look at how many words is that blog. If it's like 1,000 or 1,200 word blog, then write 1,300. Just beat it. Just write more words, have more of the keywords in it than they had. Of course, make it more better content, more images. Just make it better all around. Just crush the competition. That's really all you can do.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
That's the way you can go about it. That's looking for another example.
Yeah, I'm gonna go on to the images in the blog
Okay.
post. So you should have images in your blog post, and they should be scattered about every 100 or 150 words. So in this blog here, we were talking about the new trends for 2020 in flooring. So as I go through, I have different images that kind of showcase different sections of it. So this is all of the gray or gray blend flooring for hardwood or laminate. Yeah, I think it's hardwood. But so I have a little image, and this image can be saved to Pinterest. This image can be saved to Facebook. It's easy to make it shareable, and it encourages people to share it.
That's how you get your backlinks.
Yes. And so you can see pretty much every time that it changes topic, I put an image in here. I also made sure to use images of products they actually sell. So I used Canva to make all of these graphics here because Canva is a free tool and it has some really great layouts. So if you're in a bind or you're not very tech savvy when it comes to creating images, it's so handy.
Yeah, I just want to add that Canva isn't something that you use like if you're not good with Photoshop or you don't have very deep skills. It's not like Canva's the next best thing. I mean, like some of the biggest companies, YouTube channels, anything you can imagine uses Canva. It's as professional as it gets. If you're trying to do something a lot more custom where you have like an idea that is you need to do something crazy with, and yeah, you have to use Photoshop. But Canva is as professional as it gets. It's not second tier or anything like that. It's just yeah, you get the idea. Also, I just want to add that when it comes to writing the blogs and you're using the keywords that you're going to put into your blog to rank for, I know I said that you want to, use as much of those keywords as possible, but you do not, under any circumstances, want to be like stuffing those keywords in there in an unnatural way. For one, the people reading it is going to, get a not so good vibe over that, and probably not going to want to read your stuff, which is the most important thing. Two, Google has ways in their algorithms and their math, they use all the crazy stuff, that they have a way of seeing if you're being unnatural about the way you are inputting those keywords, and they will punish you for it accordingly. So do not want to be unnatural about it at all. It's better to have less than more if you are going to have to be unnatural about. So
Yeah. And so going back to Canva now. Sorry to jump around there, but so Canva is really great, and one of my favorite features of it is that it has all of the correct dimensions for every kind of image. So from blog banners to brochures to Facebook covers, it's very important to make sure that your image or video is the correct size, or else it'll look skewed, either too stretched out horizontally, too stretched out vertically, squished, and it just doesn't look as good. So Canva stays updated every time Facebook or Instagram or whatever changes their image size. Canva updates it literally within a day. It's amazing. And if you want to do a social media post, they have that updated. It used to be 800 by 800, now it's 1080 by 1080 due to Facebook's change. There's all kinds of things like email headers. These are really great, adding splashes of color and images throughout. So I'm just going to click on social media.
And all this is free on Canva. This
Yes,
is not
it's
like
free.
paid software like Adobe.
Yeah. There are tiers that you can pay to access more functionality, like resizing graphics or some premium images, stock photos that they have. You don't have to have that, though. That's another really great thing. So as you can see over here, we have a bunch of different templates that you can choose from, whether it's a quote or a sale or events. You can just click on one, and it populates over here on the screen, which is amazing. And you can change the colors really easily as well. If you have like your certain blue, so I have a very specific blue for my brand, I can just change all of the orange to blue, and it just helps out a lot, makes it really fast. The photos, the stock photos are really good as well. So I'm just going to do motivation. Here's all of the stock photos that come up under motivation. You can type in any keyword. I've done it for construction. I've done it for bridal. They have such a wide selection. It's so helpful.
If there's anything that you guys want to go over that has nothing to do with this, just literally anything, let us know.
Yeah, we are.
Right now, we're just kind of go over anything that is affordable or free. Yeah, because of the coronavirus. Everything on a budget.
This elements feature has stickers and different grids and shapes that you can use to really add dimension. You don't even have to use a template if you don't want to. You can just drag and drop things yourself, and you can resize. Oh, it's movable. Yeah. Text with a bunch of different fonts as well, so you can, yeah. As it loads, really slow. So it's got a lot of the Google fonts in here as well, which helps if you're doing brand specific layouts. You can make sure that you're using the same font as the rest of your website.
Let's go over like blogging and connecting to Facebook to maximize.
So
what we do.
Yeah. So moving on, we'll talk about sharing your blogs to Facebook. So a lot of what you can do to really promote your blog and generate traffic is not only just blog, but to then take that blog and post it on all of your social medias. So you can post it on Google My Business, you can post it on Facebook, Instagram, Pinterest, all of the above. And
I just want to add that this is what we do. My screen fell. Sorry. This is what we do, and you are going to literally you're going to get exponentially more visitors to your blogs and your websites by taking them and then pushing them to all your social media platforms. But not just pushing them to social media platforms like Facebook, but actually pushing them into like specific groups. Like we're a digital agency, so we push our blogs into like women helping women groups, business entrepreneur groups, and we literally get, just Facebook alone, we get so much traffic, and it's not just because of us, anybody can do it, that we're in just one hour we can push it into enough groups to get like about $50 or $100 worth of advertising. That many, like enough eyeballs to count as about $50 or $100 worth of advertising for free. So it's unbelievably worth it, and it has a effect where it like gets you more people to your blog, which then gets more people to your website, which then makes your SEO rank higher, which then helps in every way imaginable.
And Robin, they do not always have to be your own image. If you do use someone else's image and it's not free use, like a stock photo or something, you just need to link back to their site. You need to give credit where you got the image from. So one of the best things to do is to either use the stock images from Canva. You can download them by themselves, the whole 9 yards, or you can go on Google and there's some cool tools that Google supplies for you. So I'm going to do bridal images. Sorry. So going to bridal images.
Right now we're showing you how to check to see if the photos are free to use.
So after you get on Google Images, up here, right under the search bar, there's a tools button. If you click it, it'll drop down this section and you can click here on usage rights and choose labeled for non-commercial reuse, non-commercial reuse with modification, labeled for reuse, or reuse with modification.
So basically, if you want to be really safe, you just go labeled for use.
For the two that say with modification, that means you need to add a filter or some change to it before you can use it legally. It's not a super big deal. There's a bunch of stock photo programs though. As far as free stock photos, I usually just use Canva, but Adobe Stock is a really good paid photo source. They have probably the biggest collection that I've seen online. What's better though is if you are using your own images to be able to use images of your products or your services or your portfolio or what have you. So if you go to our website and you look at our portfolio, I took all the images of our website portfolio because I made the websites. And I have a client who's a bridal shop. She does floral hair arrangements. She takes pictures of every single product she makes and then uses those throughout her blog posts as well and links back to that specific product or that specific type of product. Which is another good thing about blogging that I forgot to mention earlier, I'm sorry, but internal linking is what it's called, and it's where you literally just link to another page on your website. So a lot of the time in the blogs, you'll see either they link to another blog post that's relevant to what you guys are looking at, or they link to a services page or a product they want you to buy. It kind of reinforces this web of sorts.
Now, if you are to use a photo that you weren't supposed to, it wasn't free use, it's not a big deal. So just to let you know what could happen hypothetically, like worst case scenario, what legally has to happen, let's say you use a photo of someone else's, right? And they find out, which for one is unbelievably unlikely. But if it was to happen, what would have to happen, they would have to send you like an email, a letter,
Like a
whatever.
cease and desist.
Yeah, cease and desist for you to take it down. It's not like your company's gonna get shut down or anything like that. So if you were, so of course you can just like, oh, sorry, we'll take it down. Now, if you don't, what happens is they would have to hire a lawyer and go through a bunch of stuff. And then if it came down to it, the judge would make you take it down. Now, worst case scenario, if they're wanting to get money from you, they would have to prove that by you using that photo, that video, whatever, that you actually profited off of it. And then from the proof, which is very unlikely, like that you're actually making money off someone's photo, you'd have to pay what they were able to prove you made money off of it. So it's really a super rare thing that anybody gets sued over using someone's photo. And it's very, very rare that anybody's actually paying out because of that. But when it comes to like YouTube and using someone's music or something like that, that's a totally different story. And you're probably gonna get screwed almost certainly for doing something like that. But as far as just grabbing images off the internet, it's really not something to really worry that much about. Matter of fact, if you're using someone's image, you're probably helping them more than likely. It just goes back to like the backlinking thing.
This is like where the giving credit and linking back to where you got the image from comes to. It's kind of building this web. It helps them. If you want to be even more super diligent and you're using somebody else's image from their website, you can reach out to them using their contact form, the email they have listed, and be like, hey, I want to use this. I will give you a link. Like, I will link back and give you credit for this image. Is that okay? Make sure you have it in an email so that it's like always back if they try to like pull something shady. But definitely something great to use. And he mentioned the videos on your website, and that made me remember something for SEO. Don't host your videos on your own site. So videos are very, very large files, very, very large, and they increase your load time exponentially. One video can slow down your website by like 20%. So it's really, really important that for the fastest load times, you upload that video to YouTube and then embed it from YouTube. So when you share a YouTube video, there's a button that you can click embed, and it gives you a little bit of code. You just plop that in wherever you want on your website. Way, way better for your SEO, better for your performance, better for 100 billion different things.
Yeah, if you don't know how to do it yourself, if you just ask, your web developer or whoever made your website, they should definitely understand what you're asking, and it's like how you're supposed to do it already in the first place. But you just ask.
And you're welcome, Robin. Thank you for being so active in the chat.
Yeah.
So he mentioned earlier Facebook groups, and this is probably where I think a couple of you came from. I think, Robin, I'm in your Facebook group, if I remember correctly. These are such a great tool, not only for networking, but for sharing knowledge and finding out like different things to inspire you. I've seen in a couple of my web development groups blog posts that I thought were extremely helpful that I could then expand upon. So I would look at the blog post and I'd be like, okay, so they mentioned X, Y, and Z, but they didn't mention A, B, and C. So now I'm going to go write this blog post and say A, B, C inspired by XYZ blog. Yeah, I like confused myself there. But so don't be afraid to get inspiration. I have a lot of people that get stuck thinking, I'm not inspired, I have no idea, I don't want to do this. But a lot of us read everything on Facebook anyway and read blogs and do stuff like that already. So it's just kind of taking that, getting inspired, getting motivated that way, and being like, okay, I'm gonna make my version of this, expand on this, because I think this would be more helpful to my potential
You want
clients.
to show them how to, like what we're talking about the Facebook groups, like show them directly.
No, I think.
Well, it's
Also,
an
my
example.
Facebook
like
looks
what,
different. My Facebook looks different
Okay,
because
I got
I
you.
updated to the new Facebook layout,
Okay.
which I love. I don't know if anybody else has done it.
If anybody has any questions about it, feel free to ask, or even ask after the group. But, it's super
Within
important.
Facebook groups, though, there are rules and stuff in each blog. So each group. Some groups say that you cannot self-promote, you cannot share your blog posts in them. You need to abide by those rules if you're in there. If not, you risk getting kicked out and losing that potential networking vice.
Be very careful with that, because we've gotten what's the word, kicked from Facebook multiple times, and
I'm not talking about that. But yeah, if you spam too many groups with like sharing a blog post or whatever, they will like put you in Facebook jail. I'm sure some of you have heard of that, at least, where you were too active on Facebook, so they penalized you, and now you can't comment for 24 hours.
They have software for it. It's not like we were spamming anything that was unrelated to the group and got kicked. Like no one like went out of their way to get us kicked. It was just some software stuff. But
yeah, if you comment like too frequently within like a 10-minute period, they will automatically block you from making comments. So another thing to do is find groups that are dedicated to your industry. So for example, I'm in like 100 groups on Facebook, and about 50 of them are entrepreneur groups because entrepreneurs. And then I have a few that are SEO related, a few that are digital marketing, all different aspects of what I do. So what I suggest to everyone is find those groups where it's your industry. Not only can you bounce ideas off of each other, but it'll help you learn more about your industry. especially in digital marketing, you never know 100% of everything because everything is changing. So you have to constantly be on this learning curve of like, okay, what's the next thing? What's the new update? What's this? What's that? And having these networking groups are just an amazing way to do it. Local chambers as well are an amazing networking group, especially for finding out how to connect in your community. Again, we partnered with the Titusville Chamber so that we could bring this to life and really help people in our community and help people get online, thrive online, stay online, the whole 9 yards. Is there any other questions that anyone has about anything digital marketing? We can kind of cover anything.
Also want to add, if anybody knows of anything that we can do to like help with this time, like the coronavirus, anything that we can like specifically use our services for, like if anybody knows of anybody who needs like a website made or updated or taken care of, if it pertains to the coronavirus and it's not necessarily like for profit, we would love to help. So just throwing it out there.
All right. Can you think of anything else we should cover today?
I was gonna say like sort of Facebook.
I think you guys have done a great job.
Thank you.
It's good info. I learned lots.
Yeah,
it was a last minute change from what we were gonna do, so it's just kind of like an off the cuff.
Just different things that you can basically do yourself that will still keep you building your presence even if you can't afford to do marketing right now.
And you picked up another attendee in my office.
Oh, cool.
Hello.
My nephew Matthew, who rode his bike here this morning.
Oh, very nice.
Exciting.
Very nice.
I was just thinking I want to get a bike. Like I want to get a bike with one of those like carts that go in the back for the babies. Like yeah, I was thinking about that. I saw someone had one out here in our neighborhood, and I was like, that's a good idea. I should definitely do that.
Yes.
He's
So
making a short joke. I'm 4'10", so he's making a short joke. So
yeah, that's all right. Well, I thank you guys. Does anybody else have any questions for these guys? They're a great resource. If you want to follow up with them afterwards, I know that they make themselves accessible, and I love that they do this workshop with us once a month. I think it's been really helpful for many of our small businesses to really be able to dive deep each month and look at ways that they can improve their results online. And so I just appreciate you guys taking time out. I appreciate the concessions that you made to keep this going this morning. Hopefully it didn't take too much out of your day and the kids wasn't too much of an inconvenience, but I really do appreciate you guys.
We appreciate your help too, allowing us the platform to do this.
Yes, yeah, no, it's great. So if you have any questions, follow up Blue Shift Web Services. How do they get in touch with you guys?
you can get in touch online on Facebook at the website that I just put in the chat over there somewhere.
And feel free to call. I mean, my phone number is 321-522-8962. You can talk if you have any questions, even if you're not interested in buying anything. It's fine. Like,
one thing that's super
this is my hobby. On top of it, my job, it's my hobby. I love talking about it. So
he's super awesome about that. He will help you even with no return, no nothing. He loves to share what he knows, his wealth of knowledge, and he knows a lot. He knows probably more than I do, and I don't like admitting that, but he does.
About certain things. She knows more than me about some things than me about others.
So if you need anything or follow-up questions, make sure that you reach out to them. Emily and Ryder, thank you guys so much. We're going to let you get back to your family, let everybody else get back to their day. And we hope to see you online again very soon until we can meet in person.
Cool.
All right.
Look forward to it.
All right. Bye, guys.
Take care, everybody.